What is up, everyone? This is the Brethren Court Against All Odds cast.
Let's go.
Let's go. I
What
am
up?
Cash Out, and with me are DG Bets and Vonnie, hashtag Vonnie Football. But today, due to our name and in honor of our name and the pun in our name, we are going to be talking about the hardwood basketball, getting to the
Let's
top.
go.
They're important for today, obviously tomorrow with the draft, and starting off, and most importantly, with our teams that are near and dear to our heart, but also cover some of the big money markets out there, and that is Brooklyn Nets, myself, Danny and the Celtics, and Vonnie and the LeBron Lakers. So
LeBron Lakers. There it is. You said it right.
so we were gonna talk rookies first because the draft is tomorrow, but there was some big news today. Sounds like KP, Kristaps Porzingis, the unicorn,
Yes,
is
sir.
to be heading north, in this case to the Boston Celtics. So we are going to start off the podcast or the sportscast with a segment going through the ideal off seasons of our three teams and some of the things that are actually in the news right now, but also potentially what we think might just be the best moves for our teams to make. So, Danny, where are you at with the KP trade? And starting off from there, what do you think they should do with, obviously Brogdon's on his way out, Grant maybe
Yep.
not as well.
Yeah. First of all, I think it's huge. You know what I mean? I think getting someone like him basically replace Al Horford, you know what I mean, for how old he is and this and that. But I think it's going to bring us back to defensively how good we were the year before that. We were number one ranked in the entire basically playoffs in the end of that at the end of the season. I think it's going to be huge. He can stretch the floor. He's going to replace a lot of minutes for the players that we actually needed to play, like Blake and all that they signed Muscala. But I think having him and Rob defensively is going to be unfucking believable, like straight up. And I just think he averaged, I think every last 3 years, he averaged, what was it, 21, 22, and then 23 the last 3 years. So he keeps getting better. But the biggest thing with him is health. So I think if he can stay on the court, he can be the third superstar that I think Tatum and Brown needed. And but the biggest question I think is what's going to happen with Grant Williams. But the contract situation is going to be tough. I don't see him coming back. But if you can get a sign and trade, I think the next biggest thing that the Celtics need outside of a center that I always been saying that they needed is another small forward position player that can back up Tatum. That can be more of a defender. You know what I mean? Like they need another guard defender that can get their own bucket. And I think that's basically the player that they're going to try to shoot for. But I don't know who that player may be, but it'll be interesting. But I think that's the type of player. And so I don't see Grant back. I love Grant. I think he brings that fire that we all needed. But it's one of those things. It's just a wait and see right now. But I love the addition. I think it's fucking huge. Giant.
So Grant is an unrestricted free agent right now?
Right now he is, yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That could be tough though.
Yeah. In the contract situation, I think he's trying to get like 15 mil, something like that. So that's gonna be tough. And it's gonna be interesting to see how much they can sign for. So right now, I think Porzingis can opt in or he can opt out and become a free agent. But from what I'm hearing, he's gonna opt in. So he'll sign in that 1 year deal and then we'll probably end up signing him this offseason coming in for a multi-year deal. So having those three locked up, I don't know. I've been saying like they need another superstar or at least another player that can get his own bucket. And I think this is the perfect situation for them. I don't see anyone right now. I think that bumps them up to the favorite. I know Denver's huge, but now you got someone that can defend them. So Jokic, I'm talking about, sorry. But I think it's huge.
I guess another big question of the offseason is what was going to happen with JB. And
yeah.
It sounds like, I mean, you sound pretty confident that he's coming back as well.
Obviously. Oh, yeah. He's never leaving. He's staying. Yeah, he's staying. Trust me. I think a lot of people, this is the thing with Celtics fans, I think they expect a lot, but they're fucking brutal. Brutal. And nothing's ever good enough, this or that. Like when you suck, like you have a bad he had one bad game, but a real fan like myself, looking back at every single game that I've watched during the playoffs, JB was carrying us. He was carrying us. Tatum didn't have anything going until that fourth quarter game against the Sixers when we were down 0-2.
Yeah,
Going into that. Yeah, he hit those huge buckets. Like it was 3-2, and he came out and he smashed, and then he started leading the team the next series after that. But JB was carrying us, so he's staying. Trust me.
Yeah,
We're locking that dude up. The boys are staying.
yeah. When you said the three of them, I honestly for a second I did actually think about the Heat with LeBron, Wade, and Bosh.
and Bosh.
Yeah,
This being similar
love that.
built team, but with better shooters.
Yeah, I think it's gonna come. Yeah, it's gonna come down to. I've always said it runs through Tatum. You know what I mean? So I think his progression within the league. I think he needs to get better. I think as far as he dominates this like he is the best player in my opinion, like in the East, in my opinion. That's a hot take, but I think he's so good. But he's just it's spicy. But he's inconsistent, but he has everything given to him. Like he just needs to come out with fire. And when you see that, like I don't know, no one can stop that. No one can stop that team.
Still so young. They're all still young. I mean, even even Porzingis is young still. So
27.
I think Porzingis might be 27 or 26, right?
Age is like Brooke Lopez. He's gonna,
Yeah, I mean, we always said 30 is like your prime in basketball.
Oh, for NBA, yeah, like it's closer to when you're closer to your 30, yeah.
Well, for sure. Unless you're an all-star starter type guy, you continue to make a name and a place for yourself, like Chris Paul. And a bit, but like he's 38 years old, and he's going to make an impact on whatever team he goes to.
For sure,
absolutely.
The Thunder just not so long ago, everyone thought he was washed, and then
he got into the playoff.
That was wild. That was a wild run.
And then to Phoenix. So you can't cash out on some of these guys, pun not intended, too early because, again, I thought KP might be done. You never know with these big guys, but modern medicine has improved, so everyone gets worried about Grego and obviously Yao Ming, but KD, Lopez, some of these other big guys have actually come back where you had to ask yourself, the tough questions of like, is this amazing player going to continue to get hurt because the lower half of their body
gives out? Yeah.
So
that's the biggest thing. I think to end the whole segment with the Celtics, I think it rides on his health. You know what I mean? I think if he plays at the caliber he did, basically, like if you think about it, he basically played like 70 games last year for the Wizards, and they basically took him out at the end because they were trying to get a better draft capital. So he was pretty healthy last year. So if he stays healthy, he plays at that caliber, he's like on the fringe of being an all-star. You know what I mean? He's going to get that money.
And the other thing
if he stays healthy,
he's going to be on a good team. The Celtics, they're not.
Yeah, he's the third option at this point.
Still have depth. Right. He will be able to rest a little bit, like Robin too. But they made sure he was healthy for this playoffs.
Right?
To make an impact and play games, not have 9 blocks, then not play the rest of that series and still win.
Right. Which is wild.
It will be interesting for sure. But I'm excited. I think it's a huge addition.
So, any other games that you've seen on the or heard on the wins for the Celtics?
For the Celtics,
doesn't gotta be huge. I mean, that'd be interesting. Obviously, it's not gonna be huge now.
Yeah.
KB.
No, yeah. I honestly like Sadiq Bey. I like Sadiq Bey. Yeah, I think he's the type of player that I think the Hawks are willing to move. That team, we can get into that later possibly, but that team is in question of what direction they want to go.
That's a very interesting team to dive into.
Yeah,
it really is.
But I mean,
he's the perfect player.
He would be. Outside eye looking in. I mean, now you guys got rid of Brogdon. And I've been saying this now. This for probably like 2-3 years. Just a legit floor general, because that's not smart. You know what I mean? And now that you have KP's not Jaylen Brown, he's not Tatum, right? But he is someone who can get his own bucket. So it's like to have a real floor general that can essentially facilitate and start an offense to get all three guys going would be like that's it. Like you get that, I think that you guys clearly are the favorite to win it next year.
Yeah, I think a lot going into it is going to be on Smart this year, and I think a lot of eyes are going to be on it. I think Brad at this point. The thing is with Smart is that I've always said we would win a championship if Smart came up in the bench and just was a backup point guard. We would win. You know what I mean? But because he brings too much defense, he brings too much of that heart that it's just hard to trade a player like that. And he has too much leadership, I think, behind the scenes. But I agree. I agree. I think a lot of it is going to be on him now. I think, like you just said, like, what else is there? You know what I mean? I mean, you do need a point guard, and possibly you can move Smart to the shooting guard position. He's gotten his 3-point better. Then you move White to the bench, but I mean, there's only so much money you can pass around here. You know what I mean? So
I forgot about White too. Wow.
Yeah. And Pritchard got asked to get traded, but he's still on the roster.
Yeah, it's a big sign for him to stay in.
But hey, he's a good player. If they actually give him some run again, he can hit threes.
Yeah, I love them.
If he's your third guard after Smart and White this year with Porzingis and Brown and Tatum, like that, I think that is a great bet to win.
Sure. Yeah.
So, because look, they're going to have size, and they're going
to
have talent.
That they have.
Yeah.
That's why, I mean, to me, I've been screaming this for like the last 2-3 years, but Mike Conley just makes so much sense to the Boston Celtics.
Yeah,
I haven't heard that yet, yo, but I love that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying it myself, but I've never heard the rumor either. But I've been like, that's the type of guard you guys need, though, like a savvy 100%. Veteran who can hit the three at a high clip, but he's not looking for his own offense. He's just looking to go out there, get his guys involved, and play defense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and he's at the perfect stage of his career to do that.
Yeah, and I think they were trying to do that with Brogdon, but I think it's funny. I was talking to this other Celtics fan, and I was saying how like it's funny what Brad's trying to do. You know what I mean? Like Golden State won last year, and he tries to get more guards to stop Steph Curry.